beaming from Pacific Junction Hotel to Earth. Girth.
So what bar did you say you work at?
Pacific Junction Hotel.
Okay. Did you want to mention the bar in the interview? Or you just wanted to be just an actress, a happening hippin'?
I don't mind talking about working here.
Okay.
I think the bar is part of how I've gotten the opportunity to do what I do.
How did the bar become the opportunity to do what you do?
Well, when I decided to sort of go back to training and figure out who I was as an artist, I started working at Betty's, and I basically worked both bars for almost 2 years, saving money to go to London. And Alex, Anne-Marie, Tomas, all of the management, Michaela, Tuyen, they were all very, very supportive of me pursuing my dreams, and became sort of a family. I remember before I actually did the audition for Lambda, I would practice up in the Betty's basement upstairs with a coach, and would ask my coworkers to listen to my monologue and, see that I was getting my lines right and all that kind of stuff. So I always felt really supported there. And even after I left, people were always happy to hear and catch up with me about what I was doing, inquiring with me, showing me their support. And even actually 2 of my coworkers came to see my final show in graduation. So they came all the way to London, England.
Wow, that's cool.
See me perform and graduate. So that's the type of place this place is. They really harness and foster people, not just workers, and show support and loving beyond just the restaurant and the work that's done in the restaurant. If there's other ventures involved, like music or comedy or acting, we've always felt that we've had this place in our corner, which I think is really important.
Which makes sense now why Girth Radio is now in your corner too, right?
Yeah,
why this kind
exactly.
of it's like a natural evolution.
Yeah, exactly.
It's underemphasized how much support is for a creative person or an artistic person.
Absolutely.
Like, and it could be a simple like you just said, it's a number of different ways, just somebody listening. They don't even have to put on pants and come to England necessarily.
Exactly.
Just listening or baking some cookies or just a kind word, whatever it is. It's so important to help get you to where you're going.
Especially living in a place like London on your own, it can be really grueling, and to have that sort of support keeps you going and makes the work so much more important, because you want to show something of yourself. I think you want to make people proud, so the work becomes so much more than just acting or getting up on stage and making people laugh or cry or whatever it is that you do.
So why London then? Out of you want to go to London obviously to study acting. So why London out of everywhere? Because you came from Toronto, right?
Yeah, I have dual citizenship. That was a big thing because my mom is Scottish. So I ultimately was hoping to go there and move there permanently. And Lambda, I had met the artistic director there in my first training program down at George Brown in the distillery. And he had spoken to us about postgraduate programs. And it was something that was always sort of in the back of my mind, but I didn't think was really a possibility because of money or, whatever. And one of my friends that I graduated with from George Brown actually ended up going to the program the year before me, and that really got it in my head. I'd found, and she had found out even earlier than that. So I sort of made this decision very, very quickly that I wasn't happy for whatever reason here at the place in the place where I was at that time as an artist, and I just felt like it wasn't happening. Something wasn't clicking, and I really put all my eggs in one basket with Lambda because it's a renowned school. It's one of the best in the world, And right now it's a hot place. You know, there's Benedict Cumberbatch has come out of there, Rory Kinnear, some, I think Kim Cattrall went there. There's, I mean, John Lithgow. There's so many people that have come through that place. The most recent winner of Best Actor from the Oscars this year went there. So it's just, it looks impressive, A, to go there, and B, it was a huge goal to say that I could get into a place that was of that high of a caliber. I mean, it's been around for longer than our country. It's over 150 years old, and they know what they're doing. Yeah. And the training there was amazing, and I wouldn't have traded it for the world. It was definitely worth the travel, going all the way there, and the money and the time and the grueling hours, you know, because it was a master's program done in an entire year, 12 months. So the hours were intensive, to say the least.
Before we kind of go down this road on the master's program and the real reason why we're here to discuss your new play, I just want to go back at the beginning. How did you know you were like an actress? How did that bug? That's what it's called, right? The bug.
The bug. Yeah. Well, I actually was really creative since I was a baby. My parents have a story about me insisting every single time we went up or down the stairs, stopping them where we had a stained glass window and insisting on tracing the entire stained glass before we could go up or down the stairs. And it happened every time.
Okay.
So, you know, I loved visual things. I loved being creative. The moment they started asking us that question in school, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always answered to be an artist. And I knew that I wanted to be an actor as I got more involved in, you know, extracurricular activities that were, and I was drawn to things like dance and art, and theater. And I took a program at Young People's Theatre, now called the Lorraine Kimza Theatre for Young People, and did their summer programs and just fell in love with acting and could not get my mind off it, and would talk about it to my parents and how I wanted to get, you know, more coaching and an agent and all kinds of stuff. And they wanted me to wait, and so I did. But I in high school even ended up skipping a grade because I was more advanced in the theater program, and you know, got a hand at directing there, and just have always really been passionate and interested in the arts, particularly performance art, whether it be dance or acting, and also visual arts very much so. So I think there's an opportunity to exercise all those things when creating your own work, like what we're here for today with Eigengrau. This is the first opportunity I've really had to amalgamate all those things and put them together, and sort of create a package with a group of people that I'm really proud of.
So you go to a party now, you're a full-fledged adultish, and you go to a party now and you introduce yourself to somebody. What is it you say that you do when the inevitable question comes up? What do you do? My name is Olivia, and I'm
an actor and model. I started modeling as well. Mostly when I was at Betty's working, trying to save money for London, and didn't have the time really to dedicate myself to a project in acting. Modeling is a really great way of being creative and still exercising your acting skills. But, you know, a shoot will take the most at a day. Mm-hmm. So that really took off, and I continued to do that actually when I was in London, and still now. It's just I just look at it as another medium of acting, because I'm not necessarily asked to do the regular fashion editorial projects. It's mostly artistic projects and things that require some sort of acting skill.
You told me the story about the painting or something. You were covered in blue paint or something?
Covered in blue paint. No, that's Victoria. Victoria at Betty's did a modeling thing where she was covered in blue paint. I remember seeing that actually when I was in London. It was a version of Van Gogh's Starry Night that was painted on her. And her boyfriend actually has done a recent mural on her back that was done in an art gallery show.
That's cool. That's
fun.
fun.
Yeah. But a lot of the stuff that I've done for modeling is mostly with just other artists that are really intrigued by my overall energy as an artist and how that can be portrayed in still photography. And what draws a lot of photographers to me is my skill in acting and the ability to convey emotion on command quite easily. So lots of portraiture work and artistic nudes and, all kinds of really interesting stuff, movement-based photography. It's been all across the map with that, and it's always been a really good exercise for my acting work, especially coming from a theater background and going into film and wanting to take that step into film and television, but being absolutely terrified of a camera, as most people are. I have no fear of camera anymore because I've been sort of training myself slowly to get used to them.
Well, you mentioned the nudes. I mean, once you've done that, once you've crossed that line,
Yeah.
then it's like that's as vulnerable as you can get, right?
Yes, exactly.
So there's nowhere else to go after that.
No, I'm definitely not shy.
Yeah.
And that's also been really informative for, directors and all that kind of stuff, to know that, I'm comfortable with my body and my sensuality, as it were, and I'm not going to be afraid to, do more sensually based scenes and scene work. And a lot of contemporary stuff has sex in it now. It's just sort of it's just sort of the way it goes.
Spicy moments.
Yeah, there's always a spicy moment somewhere. And I think to be able to be really comfortable in your own skin with that is, not everyone has it and isn't necessarily important. It's just, it helps. It helps the situation. It helps everyone in the situation feel comfortable, because they're not,
they're not necessarily
cooing and coddling you and being like, oh, are you okay?
Yeah. It's not, it looks spicy, but it's not spicy.
Yeah, exactly.
And is that a challenge as well, being comfortable in your own skin, not just as an actor, but also as a woman, kind of balancing the two? Because
yeah, absolutely.
we have all those Dove commercials and stuff, right? That
I think when I was young and when I was attracted to acting was that I could be another person, and especially when I was younger, I was insecure about, whatever, when you're young and growing up and becoming into your own. And sort of I found along the way an empowerment in my individuality and the way I looked as I got older, and made a very conscious choice to love it in all its glory, and to use it as a tool in every way, in my acting, in any movement or dance work, in modeling, because it's all I've got. And I better love it, because
shake what your mama gave you.
Yeah, I'm stuck with it one way or another, and I think a lot of people respond to confidence. Most of the time, they don't care really what you actually look like. It's how you carry yourself that really people pay attention to. In all forms, whether you're just moving through the world every day, or when you're walking into an audition room, when you're walking onto a photo shoot set, any of that kind of stuff. If you really know yourself and exude that confidence, it's going to make people feel comfortable and at ease, and be drawn to you and to work with you further and all that kind of stuff. I recognized the value in that confidence very early on. Especially in my first training program at George Brown, one of our teachers talked about an interview that was done with a bunch of casting directors, asking why American actors get parts more than Canadian actors get parts. And essentially the answer was that Americans walk in with more confidence. and they're not apologetic and oh, sorry, I'm just going to do my monologue now. It's they just come in with this real gusto and knowing who they are and what they represent. Presence. And that really stuck with me, that statement that she made. And I think that was a huge turning point for how I moved through the world as an artist, and really believing in myself, because no one will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Really.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Then,
Yeah.
It's been great. A lot of people always tell me, you're so confident, you're so comfortable with yourself. And I think, at the end of the day, there's so many artists out there. You have to find out what's unique about you and harness that, because there's far too many of us all try to be the same thing.
Yeah. No, I know. You can't all be ketchup, right? Somebody has to be mustard and somebody has to be relish.
Yeah, exactly.
All the stuff you've been talking about, the confidence, using what you've got, recognizing your flaws, accepting them, all of that, has that kind of been instinctual as you're developed as an artist, or was that from some of that coming from your education either at George Brown or in the UK?
I think it was partly through my education. I think, actors, when they choose to go into training programs or take classes, or even just being an actor and walking into an audition room, you're asking for people to critique you. And you have to be really open to that. And you don't always have to take the criticism. You don't always have to listen to it. Sometimes it's not always right. But you should always be open to it and allow it to be digested in your mind and really take it into consideration. And I think some of the things that were said to me in terms of critiques were about confidence and about really not being scared or nervous. And I don't think it was as much of an issue once I got to Lambda, because I was so much more secure in what I wanted and what I wanted out of that experience. But I think it really did start at George Brown, or it started to actually change. I think the ideas and the seeds of the ideas were there before George Brown, but they really instilled in me an idea of not being afraid and being scared of what's going to happen if I screw up or whatever. No one really cares. I mean, they care if you screw up something like on the day. Yeah. But in the rehearsal process or, anything like that.
There's grace.
Yeah, there's always grace. And I think it's what is natural about it is that I'm open to it. I think a lot of people wouldn't be. They'd be more closed off the more they were critiqued and told to change or adjust things, I should say. Not change, but adjust.
Almost sensitive in a way, I guess.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to take critiques, especially with something like acting, because it's not like a painting where it's outside of you. It's you're doing it and you're experiencing these things and you're being so open and vulnerable and touching on absolute truth that exists in all of us and just needs to be harnessed and tapped into. And I think that I think it's very hard for someone to go through all of that and then stop and have someone, yeah, that was great, but when you did this, that I didn't really believe that, and that seemed kind of flat, and it's just it's hard to go there and to really be in it, and then be taken right out of it and just be expected to look at it so clinically and like work.
You're in the UK now. How did you find the UK? Was it rainy? Was it?
I loved the UK. It's a hard place to live, London, and but
what makes it so hard? Just
it's a real grind there. It's one of the biggest metropolises in the world. It's the first Western city as we know them, and you just get this real sense that everyone is in this machine and they're all they're all racing in it together. Like it's the true sense of an idea of the rat race. There's a lot of, you get a very strong sense of the difference in wealth there. You get a very strong sense of desperation, people who don't have enough money, who can't afford to eat. Most people strive to just own a flat there or an apartment, not like a house. Here it's about getting your own house and getting your own property, but there it's like, oh, I'm going to get my own apartment. It's just a different world there. And I mean, the weather doesn't help. It's definitely not as rainy as they said it would be. A lot of people were like, oh, it's going to rain all the time. But I mean, for the first month I was there, it barely rained at all. And it's not that it rains a lot, like all the time. It's that the weather there is very erratic. I actually found out when I was studying there that historically London is in the middle of two weather patterns that constantly clash with one another. And that's why like it will be sunny and beautiful like it is today. And then suddenly like 10 minutes go by and there are black clouds rolling in with this huge storm, and it will go on for like 2-3 hours and then it's gone and it's beautiful again. I've never seen so many rainbows in my life. I saw a lot of rainbows there. It was lovely. London because of that grind, I think there's a lot of creativity that comes out of it. I mean, so much amazing music, art, fine art, theater is huge there. And that's what drew me to it, was because the real love for theater that they have there. And it's not just, theater people and artists that are into theater there. I mean, it's your average Joe, like construction worker, that will go to see a Shakespeare, because it's just a part of their culture and what they do. They go to see a theater show to have fun as well. And that's where the real difference is between here and there. And I think it's changing here. But I was really drawn to the idea of not having to like apologize or fight for the fact that I was an actor. Like here people will be like, so what do you do? And you say, oh, I'm an actor. And they're like, oh, okay. Oh, real tough job or whatever. Whatever they say. But there you'd say, oh, I'm a theater actor. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what do you do? And, I'd say when I was there, I'm in a theater program for classical theater. And oh my gosh, oh, Shakespeare. And it was just, the reception of it was just so much better.
It's nicer. It's warmer.
Yeah, it was warmer. It felt more accepted and important there to a point. But
Did you have trouble crossing the street as well?
Oh, yeah. And I was riding my bike over there, too.
Oh,
so I had to constantly remind myself to be on the left-hand side. Actually, I got so good at it that there's been a couple times here where I've found myself accidentally riding on the left side of the road. And it's actually mostly when I start daydreaming about the show that we're doing, because it's set in London. So when I start really getting into the world of being in London and what it's like, if I'm on my bike, suddenly it's happened actually more than once now.
Oh dear. Well,
so I need to stop daydreaming about
safety
the play.
First. Safety first.
About when I'm biking. Yeah.
No, it's cool. I've been to London twice now, and it's nice because they have when you're in like the downtown areas and stuff like that, the more touristy areas, they'll say on the streets, they have that little sign says "Look left." Yeah. Right, and it's nice and whatever. My aunt,
they even write it right on the road.
Yeah, right on the road. And my aunt, unfortunately, though, lives in a nice neighborhood, suburban neighborhood or whatever. So once you get out to there, there's nothing on the signs. There's no. So then I would forget, and I would just nearly get run over.
Oh, yeah, and they're crazy drivers.
Yeah, and they yell
really
at you
aggressive.
And like, and like sawed off, and oh dear, and like So
yeah. Where does your aunt live?
Well, she passed away a couple of years ago, but
sorry.
she lived in a place called Tottenham Hill or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Something Hill. Anyways, it was a nice area and kind of chill, and had a fence and stuff. So you graduate now from this really prestigious school. You and Benedict Cumberbatch and everybody else.
All together.
All together, yeah.
Same year.
And you're all like this fantastic trained actress. You're aware of your flaws. You're aware of what your assets are, And then what do you do? How do you then transition from like the school world to real life world, which is a little bit more colder and crueler?
Oh, yes.
And they don't care what you're doing.
Yeah, they call it the graduate blues. And I think a lot of my fellow Lambdites from that year we're all feeling it, and we're just coming out of it now. I think it's about a year now, almost, since we graduated. We graduated in late September. And essentially, I had this idea that I was going to be staying in London, and it didn't quite go that way for a couple of reasons. But there was an opportunity here that popped up with something what they call a showcase. Essentially, a school will, present their graduates to the professional world in a very short performance. You do a couple of scenes with the scene partner. They are often something that are within your typecasting, I guess, your type. Casting directors, want to see what they would likely see you in or would cast you as.
You told me once you had, what was a bitch face, or what was
resting bitch face.
Yeah. Is that what that was your type or something? Is that what you were talking about? What's your type?
Yes, I'm known to play what they would call bitchier characters.
Yeah.
Strong characters, crazy characters, angry characters, very smart characters. People that have a lot of power. I hold a lot of power. And a part of that is my general look. And then a part of that is sort of the weight that I carry. And through life, I carry a lot of, I'm very grounded, as they would say. So I think it's a combination of those. But it's definitely very much the fact that I am taller. And I'm not very thin. I've got a more muscular body, and can look quite fierce if I want to.
Fierce is a better word there. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Okay.
So I think that is the main reason why. But I really like sort of challenging that idea of cast types, and really like to try and play things if I can, and if people will let me. Things that are away from what my casting would be, like lighter characters, more, people like Blanche from Streetcar Named Desire, stuff like that. Anyway, the showcase went really, really well because I helped organize it with my school. I had done it with George Brown the previous year. There's a third-party program called Theatre Ontario that holds a showcase for all of the graduating programs in Canada. And we got in touch with them. We signed up for the showcase. It went off without a hitch. Everyone loved us. There was only 4 of us from that program that could do it, because the rest of the kids were American. It's an international program, so they always have a handful of Canadians, but they always end up mostly being American. And the opportunities here were just so strong, and the interest here was just so strong that wasn't totally existing in London right now, because I was so new, and all I had done was go to Lambda. They were like, okay, that's great. Like, I don't know any of the other stuff that you've done. It was just sort of like being a newborn baby being plopped into the middle of this community and having to really start from scratch. And I think I could have done it within about a year's time from when I had graduated, but I didn't want to wait. And more importantly, I didn't want to miss out on the opportunities that were being presented to me here. And although I love London and wanted to stay there, and it was so hard to come back because I wanted to stay in that creative hotbed of incredibleness, and where so much is going on, and it's just so much bigger and energetic and electrifying than anything I've ever experienced. I realized that the things that I was so attracted to over there, it was my responsibility, if I wanted them to exist on that level here, to make that happen as a Canadian artist, and
that gets interesting,
be a part of that change.
Because New York City fits in the same thing as London, right? Mm-hmm. Where everything is so big, mm-hmm. that if you just want to like just put out a book or something, that's almost a small dream. It's too small.
Yeah.
If you want to revolutionize literature,
Yeah.
now you're in like London and New York City, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's the same thing, right? And Toronto kind of falls in that small kind of / humble, maybe even that Canadian thing that you were talking about, which is that kind of shy or apologetic thing, which is like, I just want to do my little acting and then just go home and have a sandwich.
And it's changing very much here. Very, very much. I think what they call the indie theater scene, which is what we're sort of a part of with this project, is really up and coming here. And it's happening here very much so in terms of the amount of work that's going on and how often it's going on and how many people are getting engaged and all that kind of stuff. It's going beyond the theater community now, and I think that's really important. But and I think I've caught the wave at the right time.
That's good.
And definitely want to be a part of building it with all of these amazing people that I've met and the people that I'm in hope that in the future I will meet and continue to meet. But I think, we want to be on this international level, and we're so close. We're just like right there. I mean, there's, so much going on here, and there's already sort of like the Broadway versions of theater companies here, but now the idea of like the versions of off Broadway and all that kind of stuff are starting to pop up.
Infrastructure.
With indie theater, and I think that's just going to continue to blossom for sure. So I think I know I made the right decision in coming back, and I know that my dreams of working internationally will come out of the work that I do here, because it will be more of a jump off point to really have the opportunity to do these great things and then show it to the world and get the interest of other artists and people that I met over there and people that I know from that I went to school with in the States, and really continue on this journey together of working together for the rest of our careers.
You talked about how Americans get more parts because of the whole confidence thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about your own, you have this weight and this presence. In terms of that, why is ambition sometimes so hard for some Canadian, either actors or Canadian artists? Like, we almost seem shy, like we don't want to just, it's almost like we don't want to disrupt the system or something. Because Americans and other people seem they're very open about their ambition and what they want to achieve. And they don't apologize for it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. You want to come along? It's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, exactly. I think ambition is kind of a dirty word here. And I don't really know why. I think it's very much a cultural thing. And you can see it in a lot of things. You can see it in our politics. You can see it in, well, maybe not so much right now, but you can see it in our politics. You can see it in our social structures. You can see it in the way art is supported here, and this type of things that come out, and the type of things that are supported as opposed to the things that aren't supported. The more controversial things aren't always done. And or not all the time, but sometimes people shy away from them, and they shy away from really bold, guns blazing kind of attitudes. But I think that there's a way of being ambitious without making people feel nervous. And I think, as much as we as Canadians are possibly scared off by that, or afraid that if we do it, someone will judge us for it and somehow everything will fall apart, you're never really going to know until you try.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people actually respond to ambition quite well most of the time. I think we're scared. I think a lot of people are scared of being rejected and doing the wrong thing. And I think that's a human thing. I don't even know if it's a cultural thing. It's just maybe we we engage in it a bit more, of being afraid of what people will think and what people will say and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't really, I mean, it matters to a point, but really what matters is how you feel about yourself, and how that affects the world.
And the work as well, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's what people, people who have never heard of you have seen you. They're going to just walk away from the work,
Mhm.
right? And that's,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, as long as you've done a good job.
Absolutely. I've always, the one thing that I've always wanted to do with my work is to show people the truth of our world. I mean, I know a lot of people that struggle with being an actor or an artist, and they think, oh, this is frivolous, I should be doing something better or more important, or more, whatever. And I think theater and acting and telling stories has been going on forever. It's been going on since we became a civilization, and it is important because it allows people who can't be cathartic and can't allow themselves to feel things to really be able to feel for however long that is. People that don't even cry in life will cry at a movie, and I think there's something about that. I think there's something about people being able to feel through you, and to be touched and to be moved and to have their eyes opened, to learn, to laugh. All of those things are so important. And I think that's my main drive, is to show people the truth of the world that they're in.
Okay, that's heavy.
Yeah.
What is the truth now that's going to happen with the play in Stratford? This is really exciting.
Yes.
Let's get into this good stuff now. Right? Now we've done the backstory, the origin story.
Yes, the origins.
Take us to the present time, and now you're off in just literally like an hour or two to Stratford.
Yeah.
So explain the play and what's going on in Stratford. This is really cool.
My good friend Fiona Mongillo approached me basically right when I got back from London, because I was still trying to make it work in London before the showcase and all that. I moved back in March, and a couple months later she asked me if I would want to act in this play. That is Fiona there, actually.
Oh, I have a little card here. Yeah.
And she asked me if I would like to act in the play. We had done a scene from the play for our showcase together. And she said that she wanted to produce it through her already established little theater company in Stratford, called Here for Now Theater. And as we got talking, eventually it sort of came about, hey, do you think you'd want to co-produce this with me, because you seem to have a lot of great ideas, you're very creative in other ways, visually and such. So we basically decided right away that we were going to be co-producing and co-starring in this show, and she would be executive, and then one of our other co-stars would also be a co-producer. So the three of us kind of quickly got together and started hiring everyone else and acquiring everyone else that we would need. The first was our director, Jeanette Lambermont-Morey, who I worked with at George Brown. She's an amazingly talented director, and I firmly believe every actor should have an opportunity to work with her, because she's so creative and inventive and knowing, and has an incredible eye, knows how to work with actors, and knows how to tell a really good story, because she knows people. And we had approached a couple of other people, but Jeanette seemed the most enthusiastic about the work and the play. And so she came on board, and then everything just fell into place, because Jeanette is like a heavyweight when it comes to theater. Everyone knows her. Everyone wants to work with her, because she's brilliant. And she was the perfect type of person to tackle a play like this, which is not only, it's a British play, so it's a bit outside of our understanding culturally, not that much, but just in terms of the type of humor, the way they talk, that kind of stuff. but also the type of subject matter that it deals with. I think she can handle it with a lot of grace and show a real balance between the fact that it is both a comedy and I don't know if we would call it a tragicomedy, but it's a black comedy. There's a lot of darkness to it.
What's the play about exactly?
Essentially, it's about 4 people living in London, and it's about the desperation and loneliness that people can feel in a metropolis, and it's about essentially about our generation, of this generation with nothing to lose, looking for something, anything, love, beliefs, passion, and when you live in a world like London or Toronto or New York or Tokyo, any of those huge cities where we're all packed in and shoved into one another and we're all grinding against the same thing, so many of our needs and our wants as human beings get lost in this grind. And it's sort of a snippet of those happenings in these 4 characters' lives, and where that can really go if that desperation goes into complete mania and chaos, like where it could really, really go if someone completely, any of these characters completely gave in to that loneliness and desperation, and everyone ends up facing some sort of consequence in the end. It's not a happy play, but it's not a sad play either. It's a lot like life.
And who do you play out of the 4 characters that you mentioned?
There's I play Cassie Gray. She is a feminist activist, and the 3 other characters are Rose. She's described as a believer. Mark, who is described as the marketing guy, and Tim Muffin, who's described as a fat bloke. That's
a great business card.
Yeah. Rose and Cassie are flatmates, and Tim and Mark are flatmates, and this world and this story is created with all of this series of connections and missed connections between all 4 characters. And it's a very fast-moving play. It's about an hour and a bit. Mm-hmm. Very rapid-fire dialogue, very witty stuff.
Can you give us a sample? Give us a couple of lines?
I'd have to get into my British accent. I probably could. I could do a little bit of a snippet from when I attack Mark on his thinking that feminism is irrelevant.
Oh no, poor Mark. All right,
yes.
Go for it. Let's see. So this is a quick little sample.
Think feminism is irrelevant, do you? Think we've done it all, got our equality, what we all banging on about, that sort of thing? Because the rape conviction rate says otherwise, doesn't it? And the murders from domestic violence, and the sexual international exploitation of vulnerable women, all these things say otherwise, don't they? Oh, sorry, am I making you uncomfortable? Bet you drive a car, bet you've got a pension, bet you got savings, bet you got plans for the future. Wanker. Shit. Fuck.
Wow, look at that. There's the fierce again,
yes,
too.
That's the fierce right there.
That's the fierce.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, all right.
Yeah.
So this is playing at the Stratford Masonic Temple.
Yes.
First night is August 26th,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going till August 30th.
Yeah, 7 shows, matinees and evening shows on the weekend, and evening shows from the Wednesday to the Friday.
How do you pronounce the title? Just because some people have been struggling with it.
It's Eigengrau, which is a German word for the color that you see when your eyes are open, but there's no light, so pitch black. And it makes much more sense when you see the play. So come on down and see it.
Eigengrau.
Eigengrau.
Even I'm struggling with it. Yeah. All right. Just Google the Stratford Masonic Temple.
Yeah.
Or Stratford Masonic Hall.
Yes.
And then it'll come up, and it's August 26th to August 30th.
Mm-hmm. It's all over Facebook and Instagram. We have our own website with all the information media, www.herefornow.eigengrau.com.
Spell that just for anybody who doesn't know.
So it would be Here For Now, HEREFORNOW, Eigengrau, EIGENGRAU.com. And of course, you can always look up on Facebook or Instagram, Here For Now Theater, and all of the information will be on both of those social media sites, as well as Twitter.
There you go. So I want to close with another question about theater acting and stuff. In terms of so I've done work in film as a producer and as a writer and as even just a short, like a small little actor or whatever. But what's the main difference, I guess, between acting in a play? This might seem obvious, but acting in a play and acting in like a film or TV show.
The more I really think about it and have engaged in both, I don't know how different they really are. I think there's technical things that are different. When you are on the stage, you have to take into consideration your diction, your how far your voice will carry, staging, movement, you can't always, you don't have the ability for a close-up or an over-the-shoulder shot. You have to take into consideration blocking and all that kind of stuff. And then with something like film, there's other technicalities involved. Like you can't, be speaking with perfect diction in film. It will look weird unless it's your character, like you're playing a lord or a queen or something. And even then, it needs to be pulled back. Again, you can't be too loud on film. And there is also the fact that there is something like a close-up. So doing really weird things with your face isn't always a good idea. But I think ultimately, there's this misconception, I think, that, film is smaller. It's smaller acting. It's not as big. You can't be big on film. And I think that isn't true. I think if you're really, really in it and you're being truthful and it's coming from the right place, you can absolutely be big. Some of the best things on film have been big moments, where an actor really just does a huge gesture or a loud noise or whatever. I don't think that there's such a thing as being too big. I think there's such a thing as being untruthful. And the camera picks up on that pretty fast because of how close it is. And then theater, you get the glory of feeling the full arc of the character and playing a full arc every single night. Whereas with film acting, it's fragmented. Sometimes you're doing the last scene on the very first day, and you have to be able to get there pretty fast, and you don't have the privilege of being able to go through the whole motion, So I think those are my ideas of what the main differences would be.
All right, so I'm gonna be coming by.
I am so excited
for the
to
opening
see
night.
you
Yeah, it'll be so. It's not quite London, but it's still another road trip.
Yeah, it's another road trip, and there's gonna be a reception afterwards, so you'll be able to hang out and talk with the director and Fiona and the rest of the cast.
Oh my! I'll have to get my best tuxedo T-shirt then.
Yes, your best tuxedo T-shirt.
Yeah,
you
class it up for the play.
Iron that up and come on down.
All right.
Yeah.
So one more time, the name of this play. Say the word again.
It's Eigengrau by Penelope Skinner.
Okay.
It's at the Stratford Masonic Hall. And you can get all the information with Here For Now Theater on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or you can go to www.herefornoweigengrau.com, which is HEREFORNOW
EIGENGRAU.com.
Great. Thank you, Olivia, for taking some time. Just
Thank
before
you for having me. This was so great and exciting.
Yeah, thanks for visiting my summer lair.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.